I think it was like the 8 o'clock Eastern hour. Mike Sando, again, the feature is on ESPN.com right now as their ESPN NFL writer. Randy Scott, Andrew Hawkins back in, filling in for Will on the Will Cain Show on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. You can tweet the show at Will Cain Show, at just Hawk.
At Hawk.
At Hawk. American Gladiator Twitter handle.
Love it.
At Randy Scott ESPN. Again, the number is 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. We teased it. Let's get to it. I mean, listen, Todd Gurley not the only one getting paid today. Job well done by Kevin Love, signing that 4-year, $120 million extension with the Cavs. Job well done is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. With quality parts and know-how, Napa Auto Parts can help you keep your ride running longer, stronger. That's Napa know-how. All right, Cavs fan, Andrew Hawkins. And Cavs fan, even after LeBron left, right? Like, you're still
of course.
for the Cavs. Okay.
I'm all in on Cleveland.
How's this sit with you?
You know, it makes sense to me. And I love Kevin Love, and I think he was a great addition to the LeBron era, the second LeBron era that was in Cleveland. Here's why it makes sense to me. The owner, Dan Gilbert, he had to live through those, I call them the Pride Rock years after LeBron left. Do you remember when, like, Mufasa died and Simba was gone?
Spoiler alert.
In case you haven't seen The Lion King, for all my, like, 4-year-olds that are listening. And Pride Rock was like, there was nothing there.
Yeah.
The crops were dead. The animals were gone. People were starving. That was the Cleveland Cavaliers when LeBron left the first time. So it caught them by complete surprise. They had no backup plan. They ended up getting Kyrie, but Kyrie hadn't really come into his prime yet. So they were losing game after game, season after season. Mm-hmm. That's why this makes sense, because I think Dan Gilbert knows what that life is like. So if we have any players that are willing to stay here, any good NBA players that are willing to stay here, come to Cleveland, and be on this team now that LeBron has exited, it makes 100% sense, and Kevin Love is that guy right now.
Well, okay, so listen, man, algebra makes sense. I don't like it.
Right?
Like, this deal makes sense. Do you like it, though?
I like it. Here's why.
Okay.
Here's another reason why I like it. When LeBron came, if you remember when LeBron first came back to Cleveland and Kevin Love was here, and there was so much hype around the new big three, Kyrie, LeBron, Kevin Love.
Yeah.
But we didn't get the same Kevin Love that we seen in Minnesota.
Not enough ball to go around.
Wasn't enough ball to go around. Because LeBron is the best basketball player in the world. He gets the ball whenever he decides he gets the ball. And it's just as simple as that, and you can't argue against it. Well, now that LeBron is gone, that creates more balls to go around.
Sure.
And Kevin Love is best when he gets more touches like he was in Minnesota, because he was the guy. Now he's the guy in Cleveland. So I think you're going to get closer to that Minnesota Kevin Love than you've seen over the last couple of years, where he had to be a compliment to LeBron James.
Here's the thing about Minnesota Kevin Love. Like, he's nice, right? Like, he's 26-13, like he was across 55 games as an all-star in 2011, 2012. He can be 26-12 as he was. That's probably his best season in Minnesota, because it was 77 games. Mm-hmm. Now, it's a guy who's never played 80 games in an NBA season. Right. And some of that's rest, some of that is significant injury, some of that is some non-physical stuff, getting his mental well-being taken care of. Mm-hmm. But that was a guy who did not have playoff success. He was not a guy who took his team to the playoffs, quite frankly.
True.
So I guess, I know what you say about Dan Gilbert saying, man, we had some lean years, we're not trying to do that again, not complete rebuild. Yeah. I wonder if Kevin Love on a LeBron-less team, if he's at his peak Minnesota powers, which at age 29, going to be 30 in September, I don't know. I mean, I feel like that's a reach. They're certainly paying him for that.
Maybe.
If that is good enough in a LeBron-less Eastern Conference to take this team to the playoffs. I think it is.
I think it is. I think they'll be close enough, which is, I'm telling you, for Cleveland fans, Cleveland Cavaliers fans who lived through that first LeBron exit, that is enough. If we're in the conversation, that is enough for Cleveland fans. And I like the young kid. I like Sexton. I think he's a good player. He showed well in the summer league. I like, Tristan Thomas is still there, and some other guys. They still have a good nucleus. If they can add a couple more pieces, again, I think Cleveland is still in the conversation.
Frees them up for salary cap purposes in 2 off seasons, right? Next season is off season is the loaded one with Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant. But the 2 from now is where Cleveland could be in a position to make a splash. But right now, the price tag for Kevin Love, again, it's an extension. It's not a new deal, and he had 2 years left on his old deal. So now going to turn 30. We're looking at $24 million. Then the extension kicks in, a base salary of $26, $28 the next year, up to $31, then $33 So we'll see how the Cavs translate that to on-court success. Julio Jones wants that kind of money, and Hawk is going to tell us why Julio deserves, well, I don't want to put words in your mouth, best receiver in the NFL. I don't want to put that word in your mouth either. We'll talk about it with a guy who played at a high level, Andrew Hawkins, Randy Scott filling in for Will. It's the Will Cain Show here on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Thank you for listening to the Will Cain Podcast. You can listen to the Will Cain Show live weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. The Will Cain Podcast.
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I should have done this years ago.
Disclaimer, traveling back in time is physically impossible unless you know how to build a functioning time machine. Then by all means, travel 25 years back in time, switch your car insurance to Geico. You could save a bunch of money. While you're there, please prevent your younger self from wearing that sleeveless tuxedo t-shirt, parachute pants, and glitter high tops to your senior prom. And at long last, rectify this horrible crime against nature. Geico is absolved of all liability if you destroy the fabric of time and space.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.